Você escolha, mas tudo que vem demora. E quem me vai contar que o céu é nosso amigo, que é sempre bom voltar, que é só mais um caminho. Vai sem demora, que o tempo não volta mais. Vai sem demora, que o tempo não volta mais.
Welcome. Thanks so much, André. Welcome to Records of Origin with me, Space Cadet, and
with me, Sajni. Hi, André. It's so nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for this nice little intro that we're doing a little bit different from normal. I actually wanted to, like, when I was listening, I was curious, like, what is it about?
Well, this song, I write mostly about my existential crisis. So this song is a bit of, me saying to myself, don't be afraid, just go and do your things, just go sem demora,
What does it mean, literally?
Sem demora is like, no, how can I translate this? It's like no rush, but in a sense, it's like, do it now, Yeah.
Go for it. Nice. Great. Thanks. Welcome. Yeah, really happy to have you on the radio show. Do you have anything specific you want to ask, or shall we start at the beginning?
Yeah, I was going to say this is the first time that we have a singer-songwriter, but also I think one of Editator's finest producers on this show. So yeah, I mean it's the same format as normal. So we'd love to hear, where did it all begin for you? When did you decide to take music professionally, and what was your journey through the music of your childhood to now, really?
So I think I was always attracted to music, and I started playing guitar when I was 11. But before I started playing guitar, I had an encounter with a guitar in a stranger's house, like a friend of my mom. And I just remember staying there and playing the guitar for so long without knowing what I was doing, but knowing that I was a bit spaced out and I was really enjoying that. I don't know exactly what age I was, but I know
Are we
that.
saying like 6 or 11?
Yeah, maybe
or?
probably around that. Yeah.
Okay.
And this was like, my mom used to have a jewelry shop, and sometimes I used to stay with a neighbor, and this was like a friend neighbor, and yeah, she had a guitar, and yeah, this was like my first spacing out with the music, that I had. And then later, my parents offered me a guitar because I was asking that for so long. I was like 10, 11. Yeah, and then I was only playing guitar for like others, bringing the guitar every day to school. I had a band in school as well. Then later in high school as well, just keep playing for other people. Then later I moved to London when I was 18, and that's where things changed a bit. I saw music as a different thing, as like more serious, but I was feeling it in a different way as well. So I started to write my own songs, and I started to discover a bit more about myself, finding my voice. and I guess that's the time that everything changes. Then I decided to come to Portugal again, and um, yeah, I just started to make music in Portuguese, write in Portuguese, the way I feel like I can express myself better. Yeah, and it's been a journey.
And what was your band called? The one in school?
Actually, in school, there was not really a name. It was like the school bands, you know.
Okay.
But I actually, my first band of originals in London was called Tarzan, because I used to have long hair and we didn't really know what was the name, so we had this idea of Tarzan and dressing as monkeys in stage. Well, another life.
Oh, super curious to hear.
The original gorillas.
Yeah. But London had a good experience or like a good influence on you.
Yeah, definitely. As you can imagine, like as 18-year-old moving to a big city alone with no expectations, not knowing really what to do in life, arriving there, and 20 days after, I was living in a house with 10 musicians. We had a studio, we had 3 pianos. That's where I started to learn how to play piano, started to be in touch with other instruments as well. And you know, there was a house full of artists and songwriters. There was musicians, there was producers. There was it was a big school for me as well. In the meantime, there was this. I discovered this party scene as well in London, which inspired me a lot in that time as well. Electronic music, and you know, in this time, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, or I never really had the pressure of like I have to do this or. But I always felt like this was attracted to me: music, the instruments, the songwriting, everything. And yeah, in that time, I was really trying to understand what I was doing. I was doing music in English, a bit electronic as well, and then I started to slow down a bit when I grew up. Yeah.
So I guess what was the music that was inspiring you before you moved to London, and then what kinds of tracks were inspiring you kind of then?
You know, to be honest, I feel like I was always a person that was very spaced out, so I never really paid attention to things actually before London. I think in London I started to be more conscious and more aware of myself and my surrounding. So I was listening to all kinds of music. My family, from my mom's side, is from Cape Verde, so I always had a big influence of Cape Verdean music. And then on the other side, I had this, you know, this Portuguese. My father always liked as well, this classical Portuguese music, and yeah, I guess before I was in London, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was listening. Of course, I had my phase of like art rock, you know, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, you know, like just that time. But then, yeah, things start to change more in London as a yeah. And there was this time. I brought a track for you today.
Yeah.
And there was the time, you know, I was really trying to figure out what was my voice, singing and expressing myself. And I remember I had a fireplace in my bedroom, and I just put the fire on, and there was music on shuffle, and this song came up from I don't actually think it's this song, but this artist came up, which is Ryex. I don't know if you know Ryex.
Yeah.
And it really inspired me a lot because for the first time, I noticed someone being like a man and being like fragile and talking about the feminine and talking about these things, and that really inspired me to open up a little bit more. Yeah.
Nice. Should we put the track on?
You want to listen a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Come hold me down, I've gone too far. Somebody hold my head up. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Isn't what we say written in our veins? Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Isn't what we make hidden in our ways? Ay, 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 ay. Come hold my breath and cross my heart. I won't come back and steal your guide. Somebody hold my head up. Somebody hold my head up. Ay, 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 ay. Isn't what we say written in our veins? Ay, 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 ay. Isn't what we make hidden in our ways? Ay, 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 ay,
Yeah, we're still trying to find our way through the music and if we want to interrupt it or not. And I don't really want to interrupt that because it was really, really beautiful. Yeah, this is, yeah, I can imagine, very inspiring song that has a lot of influence. You mentioned that it was like like there's a feminine side that
Mhm.
like inspired you with this track. I'm curious to hear more how that felt or how that works for you.
You know, I guess growing up here in Portugal, a bit of um, I always felt that was a bit close-minded, and you know, this feeling that men have to be men and women have to be women, and getting to a place in London that is like so cosmopolitan and like there's so many different ideas that I was not used to, and I didn't really had this conscious of these energies that we have inside, like the masculine and the feminine, and how we balance this. So I guess getting that, feeling that in such a intuitive way through music, I think that's kind of what attracted me to Ryx and to his voice and to his compositions, because I was feeling this feminine energy coming from a man, but as well like it's so masculine at the same time, you know. I guess it more or less that, yeah, that feeling, and how I can be more conscious of that in myself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, let's talk a bit more about London, or where do you
Well, after
where's the story taking us? Where's the journey taking us?
well after London, you know, I spent there 3 years. I had an amazing time. I discovered a lot about myself, about the outside as well. But I guess like I in 3 years I really had my time, and I decided to come back because I really wanted to write music in Portuguese. So I decided to come back, and I started to, you know, just writing in Portuguese, trying to figure out what I was doing still. And yeah, after like 2 years being here and working in different places, doing things that I never really could stay long enough. I
Like
was
little odd jobs.
yeah. I think I always find it hard to be in this routine where I have to listen to a boss or to someone saying what to do, which is like it's necessary, and I did it before because I needed to work and I needed money and like the rest of us. But for me, I was not like in the right mind place to be in a normal job. So I decided to start, my work as a producer that time, and to get money instead of working on a 9 to 5. Yeah. And this time already I was doing some shows in Portugal, some gigs and things, but of course doing gigs in Portugal is not enough to make money. So I was lucky enough to be producing.
I remember sitting around a fire once talking to you about the economics of
Mhm.
music,
Yeah.
and like you had some really interesting insights to share
Mm.
around like how does Spotify work for you, but also
Mhm.
how does it all work? It'd be
Well, to be honest, I think we kind of know how it works, but we don't. I think in the end we don't really know much, because this system of um, you're streaming, you get money from your streams, and you get money if you are played on the radio, and if you're doing live shows or everything. But the numbers are a bit blurred. You don't really know really what you're receiving. I never know. It's like up and down. And I think definitely we should have more clarity in that. But I don't even know if like with my numbers if it's enough to think about that, or if I should think about that. I focus more on getting like with my music. I focus more on making the music I like, and then the rest comes. Yeah.
So you're not even focused on making sure that all the royalty organizations know
Hmm.
have your data and have all of that.
No, of course, I'm conscious about that and getting more and more conscious about that. But it's not it's not why I'm making it. So it's not like something that I'm really chasing. Of course, I like to be conscious about things, and I like to understand where how this system works. But it's not really where I put my mind into.
Yeah, no, that
Um,
makes complete sense.
Now,
Yeah.
if I was an artist with millions of plays, which I'm not, maybe I would even have someone else to take care of that, or I would be more cautious.
I'm also asking. I realize now because I'm involved in a project that is trying to educate musicians
Yeah.
about this. Because yes, when you have millions of listens or
Mhm.
views or whatever, yes, it makes sense. But also as a small artist, because there's still money being left on
Of
the
course.
table. But it's yeah, it's a thing for
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
No, but like I can understand that. Yeah.
I mean, whilst we're on this topic as well, like I'd love to link it to, when you were in London, you were living in a house of artists, and now
Yeah.
you kind of have access to a studio. There's a record label. Like, I'd
Yeah.
love to hear a bit more about that as well.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think before that, like just this topic, I really feel like there's a true connection as well, like in physical um, things like CDs, vinyls. So that's something that I have on mind as well. Like go like instead of only being digital, I want to have physical things, and I think that's more transparent to, and there's a bigger connection between listener and artist. And I think in the end that's really what we're looking for. Just a connection between the people that listen to us and feel our art and consume our art. And yeah, I think the streaming platform it's amazing because you can listen to your favorite artists really quickly and you don't really have to think about it, or it's the modern days. But in the end, like, um yeah, it's a complicated world.
Yeah, for sure.
um yeah, so I guess later, I was trying to work uh, on my things and trying to make work for myself, trying to get money with my ideas, producing, playing gigs, doing whatever I can. But I think recently, only recently, I had a studio before, which I had to leave because I had some problems with the humidity and my equipment was not very humidity friendly. But yeah, recently I moved in January, more or less. I moved to Carvoeira in São Julião, next to Ericeira. It's a beautiful place, and I'm moving there to Relique, and which is there's some friends close by, living there, and there's a I don't know how you call it in English, but annexo, like a house annex. Okay, and
Yeah, an extra house. Just
yeah,
like,
extra.
not connected.
Yeah, not connected. But they just they didn't knew to really what to do with that. And I was talking, my studio, my studio, my studio. I'm looking for a place now, and they just opened their doors for me to be there and to work. And since that, it's been very life changing. I've been getting a lot of way more production. Instead of going to random studios and to work there. Also, I'm a teacher of music production, and was good to open up. I teach here in a school called Prod J, but also was good to open up to have one-to-one classes. So yeah, a lot of things has been changing. I feel like the people around as well are very like-minded and they like to move things forward. And yeah,
Yeah, and it's having good equipment, good space,
yeah,
and good
exactly.
people around you is like
Yeah.
super important.
I guess we left out a little bit of history there between
We jumped a little
between
bit.
London and
We
now.
jumped a little bit, but
Are there any kind of very influential moments or tracks or music from that intermediary time that you want to share with us?
yeah, definitely. I brought this song. Let me see. So a big influence in my journey of finding my voice, I think was António Variações, and I
Great
never.
movie about him, by the way.
Yeah, there is a great,
there is. Yeah,
great movie.
What's it called?
I think it's called Variações.
Variações, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a guy that you see his music and you look at him and and the way that he used to speak, he was totally ahead of his time, and definitely was a big inspiration for me. Looking not only to what the outside world is doing, but looking more inside of me and being more honest with what I'm doing, because at that time maybe a lot of people they wouldn't understand what he was saying, or trying to do. And yeah, definitely this is a person that inspired me as an artist.
Shall we have a listen then?
Let's go. Variações.
Não tem juízo quando te esforças mais do que é preciso. O corpo é que paga, o corpo é que paga. Deixa eu pagar, deixa eu pagar. Tu estás a gostar.
Yeah, variações.
Nice. Very playful song.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it was different from whatever was going on in that time
Yeah.
in the music scene. So
What was going on in that time, I guess?
Yeah, there was also just right after the dictatorship, right?
yeah,
Very serious
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always surprised how much influence that has. Or I'm not surprised. I always forget how much influence it has.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to someone about the film or movie scene in
Mhm.
Portugal in the 70s and the 80s, and he was like, "No, it wasn't there.
Very soon.
Just wasn't."
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the music scene might have been very
The-
interesting time as well.
Definitely the Salazarismo, as we call it, the time of the dictator, was it really affected the culture, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were the longest in Europe to have a dictatorship. And yeah, music, of course, still nowadays we do intervention music, and still we can feel that times. And there's a big influence from José Afonso, Zeca Afonso, Sérgio Godinho, and actually I brought you a song from that time.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
And this song is particularly it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I think mainly because of it talks about that dreaming is as powerful as living, and it's a song that was released before the dictatorship was finished. So yeah, it's a song that gives power to the people without a straight direct message, so that could yeah,
Like a spiritual type of song?
we could say that.
Okay.
I don't know if well, yeah, we could say that definitely. I think all kind of music is spiritual. It gets us in a spiritual mood.
If all is right, I would say yes for sure. Nowadays, I'm not really sure anymore with all the slop that's being made. But yes,
Another time.
another for yes, it's definitely discussion for another time. Do you want to have a listen, or do you want to dive more into that period of music in?
Should we put on a snip?
Yeah, a little bit. I think the song is pretty long as well, so just listening maybe a little bit.
little bit.
Just for you to see as well the voice of this man. Yeah, Manuel Freire.
Eles não sabem que o sonho é uma constante da vida, tão concreta e definida como outra coisa qualquer, como esta pedra cinzenta em que me sento e descanso, como este ribeiro manso em serenos sobressaltos, como estes pinheiros altos que em verde e ouro se agita, como estas aves que gritam em bebedeiras de azul. Eles não sabem que o sonho é vinho, é espuma, é fermento, bichinho alacre sedento, de focinho pontiagudo, num perpétuo movimento. Eles não sabem que o sonho é telecor, é pincel, vaso, fusto ou capitel, arca em ogiva vitral, pináculo de catedral, contraponto, sinfonia, máscara grega, magia, que é retorta da alquimista, mapa do mundo distante, rosa dos ventos infante, caravela quinhentista, que é cabo da boa esperança, ouro, canela, marfim, florete de espadachim, bastidor, passo de dança, colombina e arlequim, passarela voadora, para-raio, locomotiva, barco de proa festiva, alto forno, geradora, cisão do átomo, radar, ultrassom, televisão, desembarca em foguetão na superfície lunar. Eles não sabem nem sonham que o sonho comanda a vida e que sempre que um homem sonha o mundo pula e avança como bola colorida entre as mãos de uma criança. La 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 la
Wow. Yeah, beautiful, and especially when you know the history that it was made and released before the end of the dictatorship. A lot of emotion. So, I mean, how did it inspire you?
Well, first of all, I think besides the lyric, which is beautiful, it's like a big poem, and I think as well like his voice. I think it's similar to what happened to Ray X inside of me, like the way that he just sings with his open chest, and I think that inspired me as well to open up a bit more. So this is the kind of artist that I listen and I take a little bit of them for myself, and just sing eles não sabem que eu sou really influenced the way I sing as well. So yeah, and the type of writing and the clarity of showing things, and it's some kind of healing as well, and that's something that inspired me a lot. Yeah.
So, tell me, what are you working on now? What have you released recently?
So the last song I released was this year, I think, or last year. I'm not really sure because the last song is called Estrelas. It was a song that I released, but was made in a residence that I did at a groove house with amazing friends, and we're still working on an album that is coming out from that. But yeah, still on the process. But I feel like now I'm in a time of really writing and not really releasing much music. I never really felt that pressure, which is good, of releasing music. I did, I released some singles. I have an EP out, and now I'm really my goal and my dream is to make my album, and I'm just really waiting to see if I can get this godsend funding. And my idea is to have a live band, you know, and record all the songs with a band and be in a big studio, and you know, this is what I want to do and release it in hopefully 2027. Yeah, this is what I want to do. But in the meantime, you can listen to my songs everywhere. I have, you know, I have my EP. That was my first mini album, my baby, and there's some really special songs there for me. I guess all the songs are special. Some I start to forget because I change, but yeah. I have my EP which is called Bonanza. You know what Bonanza means? You know that stage of the sea after the storm where everything is calm? There's a word for that, which is bonanza. Everything is still. Yeah. Yeah, and was a period of my time that I was really I felt like I was being honest for the first time writing something. Actually, there was this song that is called Vai ao Rio, which is the opening of this EP, and was like the song is as it came out. I was just playing and recording, and it came out that way. And I really felt like I was being honest in that time for the first time, and it really changed my mindset about writing and about uh, assessing your feelings and your emotions and exposing them, and not rushing the things. I was always like, okay, I have to write a song. I'm gonna write a song, and I'm gonna do it. And I can write a song, but maybe it's not gonna be as real or as honest as if it just comes to me. And yeah.
Do you feel like sharing it?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I brought here my friend.
Your friend? You mean the guitar?
Yeah, the guitar.
It's not a midget.
Yeah, bring the musicians. Yeah, but the song goes a bit like this. Let me just tune the guitar. You know, this is the thing I always have in gigs. I'm the most awkward person tuning the guitars. I always spend so much time. So this is Vai ao Rio. Vai ao rio, porque o mar está cansado. Vai ao rio, vai por um bocado. Em terra de homens, em terra de sombras, em terra de mágoas, em terra de água, em cada momento e em cada verdade, de tudo que é um pouco, mas só a metade. Yeah. Vai ao rio, porque o mar está cansado. Vai ao rio, vai por um bocado. Vai ao rio.
Nice. Beautiful.
I love that we have some water effects. I don't know if
Yeah,
it cuts through.
There's like a little river flowing behind us.
Yeah.
It'd be great to hear a bit about what it means as well, because I guess there's the meaning and then there's the deeper meanings. And
There's a deeper meaning, definitely, but I think it's very private, to be honest.
okay,
I think no.
You don't have to say anything.
No, it's just this is the kind of song that really just was through a moment that I was living through, and I feel like I was always discovering myself through my my life, and I think this period of time was really me um being myself for the first time. So I was going through some moments, and I think this song, it talks about instead of going to the ocean that is so full and so big of things, go to the river and just it seems weird in English explaining like this, at least for me, but it just talks about this, like yeah, you don't really have to go to this big thing, just enjoy the small thing, and yeah, that's it, more or less. But I'm really bad explaining my songs.
I mean, like, it makes sense. Like, I can imagine it's a bit awkward moving from Portuguese to English and then having to explain. I fully get that, but like the idea, and it's sort of like sort of self therapy. It sounds like also the previous track that you mentioned, where you just focus on the small things. The big things might come, might not come. Just relax, ease into it.
Yeah, I think music was always very therapeutic for me, and yeah, it was always this process of just trying to speak something that I wasn't really able to speak in other ways. And I guess music have that power, being like listening to music or being like creating music. I think there's this power that it have in us, that is, we just unblocking some things that we're not really paying attention to. And sometimes I feel like when I write songs, there's such a relief of, there's such like there's something that needed to be out, and I think that's the thing that I enjoy the most. And I feel like a lot of people connect with that, and I heard people saying to me about my music that it feels like it's a bit about healing, because I guess, some of my songs are about like existential crisis and trying to understand what the hell is going on, why am I in this body, or some things. It's not, I don't really write much about like people or about situations. I write more about like things that I try to understand inside and relate to the world. Yeah, so definitely it's a healing process for me, and I've had people that come to me, and they say that they really feel more peaceful, or more like there's something that they needed to to understand, and through my music, and that is brings me so much joy. I remember this time there was a girl. She sent me a big text in DMs, and she said, I've been sick for months, and I've been listening to your music, and it's really been helping me, and that that just inspired me so much to like, not inspired me, but gave me confidence in a way that is like, yeah, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and I'm being honest, and people can feel that. But I think music is just this big journey, and you keep learning, and you keep trying to understand it, and there's a big power in that. And even sometimes, I try to be careful as well of the things that I write, because I feel as well that they can be like manifestations for the future. Yeah. Anyways,
That's really beautiful, and it's like taking this multi-dimensional emotion and like conveying it in an art form, and people are feeling that. It's really beautiful.
I think that's music. It's a form of art that is really I don't know. There's not really boundaries,
Mm.
and we can just express ourselves through sound, and that's what humans been doing for ages. Being
Mm.
these like arriving to places, even trying to communicate with the nature, or trying to going through traumas, or now it's in the modern times, music is being used as therapy to help people with diseases, or
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
it's something that yeah, it's a form of art, but it's like it's the universal language as well. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And I think you mentioned that in the past you might have sat down with a bit of an urgency to
Yeah.
write a song. Do you have a process now, or how do you approach songwriting now?
I really feel like it's been super natural, and I'm super grateful for that. But I really don't try to chase it. I try to play some things, and when it comes, it comes. I don't try to rush it. But of course, like I've been doing some songwriting sessions, or some some things that I needed to write, and in that case, I have like a formulas and things that can work out. But of course, I try to be honest as well with what I say. But I try. My process is more or less. I always try with the instrument, and melody usually comes first, and then I write something over. Yeah, and I try to. Before, I used to do like some songwriting with the computer and try to produce at the same time, which is amazing too. But now I try to play as much as I can outside of the computer, have everything, and then transpose it to digital. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. We've got a bit of time left. I guess anything else you wanna share, but also your views on the music scene in Lisbon and Portugal today. Anything you want?
Um, Lisbon. It's a beautiful city, full of colors, full of music, full of beautiful people, and definitely this attracts a lot of people, and it's beautiful that it's so cosmopolitan right now, and there's a lot of different cultures, and there's a lot of different events going on, not only created by Portuguese but as well from foreigners. But as well, I think that brings like I feel at some point is a bit like overcrowded. There's a lot of things going on, and sometimes it's as an artist, for example, it's like you really have to. There's a lot of options, for people to go and watch music, and I think at some point it's like it's a bit difficult when as a when more when I started. I think now it's a bit different, but when I started, it's like to play in Lisbon, it's like you really have to promote really hard your music, your gigs, and you never know what if it's like. It's not certain because there's a lot of things going on. I think it's beautiful that is a lot of music and a lot of gigs coming up, but as well like there's a system that, because there's a lot of people, I think that can not be good at in some levels. Like there's some venues that, for example, I have a price for example to play a gig, or usually I get money from the tickets or whatever, but some of the venues they pay cachet. But for example, if there's a lot of options, if I say a price and if there's another artist that he goes and it goes low, it's like, yeah, you're breaking the system because you're not just not respecting yourself, but well, maybe because you need to show up and to do your things, but as well like there's a whole system of musicians that are we are codependent of each other, and we are dependent of each other to take care of the system, to grow and to be respectfully paid and organized. And yeah, there's this. I understand like some venues, it's a struggle as well, because there's not really. It's not the fault of anyone that there's this system of unfair payments, but yeah, I think in some places in Lisbon can be a bit hard. That's why I used to do a lot of shows and try to book as many things as I can. And then I figure out this is not the best. So I started to reduce and to make like 1 gig a month, more or less, in Lisbon, but to make it good, and make it like with a concept and really think about the things. And every show it's different, so people can, and that really created a flow and started to attract more people. So I feel like, yeah, my gig started to be like or more full, or and really people started to understand that. So I think there's a lot of things we can learn from Lisbon. It's beautiful and it gave me a lot. At this time, I'm trying to not play as much as Lisbon because I believe that an artist should move, and I've been trying to play outside of Lisbon. I've been spending a lot of time in Ericeira, for example, but even playing, I try to be outside of this city of Lisbon. I try to go to other places. Yeah, like this next Saturday, I'm going to play in Guimarães, north of
Nice.
Guimarães, in Cavés. Yeah.
Anyone up north listening to the show?
Let's go, North people.
I'm also curious because you said you had like a monthly concept.
Yeah.
Would you find that like similar people would come, so you start to build a bit of a community around it? Because I think people are also looking for that a little
Yeah,
bit.
definitely. There's this big sense of community that we can find not only in Lisbon but as well in Ericeira. I think Portugal brings a bit of that. I guess like people coming from outside as well, getting to know other people, and it's a circle, and yeah, it's totally normal, and that's beautiful. For me, for example, I I really have this feeling of I have a community here and I have a community there, and if I do some shows, there's definitely people that come often. Um, and I like to play, and I like to show it as well to new people, and that's my goal right now as well. Is like to expand a little bit my music, and so more people can feel this, and my ultimate goal is I can live with my music. So definitely that's why I'm trying to move around to other cities, but being in home and being in places where there's a community is definitely beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, talking about traveling around, you're preparing a little tour through Europe.
Yeah, in partnership with Gelik, I have. Oh yeah, you got the T-shirt.
What does it say
For
on the
the very-
back? Local arts for analog hearts.
Exactly. Yeah, Gelik, soon.
Someone can see on the camera.
Soon there will be more information about Relic, but it's just the idea is to support local artists and support the music scene. Being in Lisbon, there's not really a base, but we're doing a tour now, and it's being organized by Jackson, Levi, and Rosie, my friends. And yeah, it's just been. We still have some things to figure out, but we're going to Switzerland, we're going to Italy, to Spain. We're still figuring out if it's worth to go to France or not, south of France. And then I'm going to finish the tour in a residence that I'm doing in Sicilia, in Italy.
Beautiful.
So yeah, if any of your listeners know a place that I can play, I'm still
So
looking for
south
some
of
gigs.
France, Italy, Switzerland,
Yes.
Spain, anywhere.
Well, yeah, south of France, north of Italy, Spain. Yeah, we can move around a little bit, like not very far from Ibiza, because we're going to Ibiza after. Like we're going to pass through Barcelona and some other cities.
Barcelona, I might have some contacts.
Let's go, Guy.
I'll check in.
Yeah, we're still figuring that out, but yeah, there's already some shows booked for that tour, and I'm just super excited. I feel like this is what I want to do, is like to move, to go to places, to meet people, to get inspired, because it's difficult as an artist to be in the same place for a long time. as well.
Yeah, and I think music is a great excuse to travel. Because like imagine going somewhere and knowing nothing, then you're a tourist. Going somewhere and you're an artist,
Yeah.
and people take you in, show you around, bring you to a nice restaurant,
Yes,
show you the
exactly.
goods. Completely different story. Yeah.
And as well to keep us like evolving and seeing different things and
Yeah.
like different views and different people, different ways of being. Like we talk about life. We write about life. We write about things, and we have to see it. Not
Yeah.
only from one perspective. Yeah.
Very good. We have a minute and a bit.
Oh.
You wanna do a little? You wanna show some of your music, or promote some stuff that you? Where are you playing?
So I got some dates here. So I'm gonna play in Guimarães next Saturday. Also on the 22 and on the 28th of this month, I'm gonna be opening for Black Cat Cinema. Some music in a trio, 3 guitars in my voice.
And then there's a film afterwards.
Then there's a film afterwards.
on the 28th, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's go. And then I'm gonna play in Ferrel on the 17th, not in Lisbon, 18 in Caldas da Rainha. And on the 19th, actually, this is an important gig because all this tour that we've been talking about, we're doing a donation-based crowdfunding gig on 19th of July. It's gonna be on July, yeah, Lab Arts next month. So yeah, that is gonna be something that I'm looking forward.
I'll make sure that I'll be back by then.
I am back by then.
Nice. Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for listening to Records of Origins on Eastside Radio. See you guys next time.